fun to do a series on what we eat and some of our favorite recipes. So today I'm going to be working on one that's actually from the Biggest Loser Cookbook. We've kept it around for years and years. It's called Cabbage Strata. And the first thing, the most important, is making bacon. And my husband is working on that. So we'll get the bacon cooked and then I'll show you the next steps. Okay, I got a little bit ahead of myself. So there's the cooked bacon. We're gonna use that in a little bit. And here's some bacon grease. We're also gonna use that. But the ingredients that you are going to want is a cabbage. I got purple because it's all they had at the grocery store. Normal, that's not what I would get. You want 8 slices of center cut bacon. I like to get the extra thick for my kids. They like that. 1 cup of brown rice, not cooked. You're gonna do 1.5 pounds of either ground chicken or ground turkey. I usually get turkey because it's just easier. 2 cans of tomato sauce, 1/2 cup of water, and a good old yellow onion. So let's keep going. Okay, one thing that I love about cooking bacon first is that I can then use the bacon grease. So I poured off probably 3/4 of it. And I'm only gonna use 8 slices of bacon, but I cooked the whole thing because my kids, I have teenagers, they love to make BLTs. So I'm gonna take the ground turkey and I am just gonna cook it up because I need it cooked up to make the casserole for the dish. So stay tuned. In the meantime, I am going to cut up the cabbage. I like it to actually be small pieces so that once it's cooked, it's, you know, more like a fork size. And no, I'm not a professional chef, so I'm sure, you know, you can comment on my knife skills and how they are not fantastic. I'm safe, and I'm just a mama trying to, you know, feed her kids healthy things that aren't boring and get the job done. So hopefully that is you. Actually, one of my sons is culinary trained and he would probably be mortified at me right now, but it is what it is. Okay, the turkey is still cooking, and while we're waiting, I got a paper towel and I just wetted it. This is a great trick to help with onion. When you cut the onion and you have that wet paper towel, you are not going to cry. It is so fantastic. I love it because I am a big crier. I used to try to do it under the sink. I've tried to do it with essential oils. Really didn't work. Also, apologize for my nail polish. Momlife, I just haven't had a chance to go and get them done. So it is what it is. This is gonna be cooked in with the rice. So it doesn't have to be super small. I love onion because it adds a good flavor to recipes, especially when they're sauteed. So these are gonna be nice and cooked up. If you don't like it, you don't have to have it. I usually add extra garlic to this recipe, but since I'm trying to make it as true as possible, I won't do that for you guys, but you are free to add garlic to it if that's something that you like. Garlic is so good for you. I think it's a fantastic thing to add in as long as it goes with the other flavors that you have involved. Also, these cutting boards, my 16-year-old makes, they're beautiful. He's really talented, and you can go to my social media and see some of his stuff and follow along. So now the onion's ready, we'll take a quick look over at the turkey. Okay, so it's still coming along. Nothing too exciting, you know, just takes some time. This is actually where I would add the garlic if I wanted to have garlic in here, just to add a little bit of flavor. But for you, we're just keeping it simple. So right now this turkey is getting some of that bacon grease flavor and it's gonna be good. I'm also pre-setting up this dinner. It's middle of the day. I happen to homeschool. I teach our boys a subject so that all I need to do later on is I can take the casserole dish and I can put it straight in the oven and then we're ready for dinner. So this is healthy, this is quick, it can work around your life. All those things are important. So my goal with meats is always to keep them lean when I can. So the bacon, we're only doing a few slices. It's gonna add a lot of flavor. So I try to keep the turkey really lean. I do like Jenny O. I also can find some leaner ones at a local butcher. So I'd like to keep it under 90-10, so 10% fat. That's by weight. That is not by calories. So when you see a 90-10 and 80-20, that really just means that that's by volume. So you're gonna have a lot more of your calories coming from fat than 10%. So be careful. I'm gonna turn this off now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer it to a bowl for later. And as you can see, I still do have some grease in here that's left over from the bacon and the turkey, which is great. So I'm gonna use that. I probably saved about a tablespoon of the grease. I'm gonna use that, and the next thing that I'm gonna do is I am going to add the onion and the rice in here and just kind of cook it up a little bit so it has a little bit more flavor so that we can add it into the cabbage strata dish. So once I have this over, then I will show you the next steps. Okay, so I'm mostly ready, but you'll see it's not perfectly clean. My goal is not to use a whole bunch of pots and pans. I'm a busy mama, right? I run a business, I homeschool, I'm trying to keep the house together. I'm sure you can relate. Whatever is on your plate, it's not like you sit around with lots of them. So if you're looking for beautiful, you're probably not gonna find that here, but you are gonna find simple, realistic, and healthy. So I am a certified sports nutritionist. I'm also a certified health coach. I'm just avid about families living a healthy lifestyle. So depending on your goals, you may want to eat more or less of something, but really incorporating these things for your family, finding recipes where they like a vegetable is super, super important. So I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit. I really want the onions to kind of caramelize. It'll really help with the flavor. Okay, so my onion and rice mixture is still cooking. So I'm gonna take about half of the cabbage and I'm gonna put it in the bottom of my casserole dish. This is an extra deep casserole dish, and it's actually my favorite to use for this recipe. I don't always use it. Cabbage takes up a lot of volume. It's gonna shrink down. So I like that this one is nice and deep. So that is the first layer, and then we're gonna wait for the rest. Okay, so we're ready for the next step. If you can see it, it's been caramelized and lightly browned. So I am going to add the rice and onion over this first layer of cabbage. So this is half of the cabbage. I'm gonna get it on here. We'll put it right in there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the next layer, which is actually chicken or turkey, whichever meat you have done. Let me look. Cooked chicken. Okay, so all of the chicken is gonna go in now. So I had just reserved it over here. So we're gonna put, I happened to do turkey. So I'm gonna put it all in here. Let me move this a little bit so you can see. So I'm gonna kind of spread it around evenly. So we now have cabbage, onion, rice, and we have the turkey. And then the next step, oops, sorry, we have people coming and going, and somebody came in, and then I dropped some of the water on the ground. So real life. Okay, so the next step is actually we're gonna take the rest of the cabbage and we're gonna put it on top. So you're gonna see this is gonna get pretty full. I always do a full head of cabbage, even though I think it says like 6 cups or 8 cups, but I don't have time for that. I just do the full cabbage and I make it work. And then the very last thing that we're gonna do is take that same exact skillet and we are going to add the half a cup of water. Oh, my little thing isn't working. Half a cup of water, and then the 2 tomato sauces, and we're gonna thicken it a little bit, and then we're gonna put it over this. Okay, so while this is cooking up, my teenager has come in and did something to his computer, real life, and I am going to wash these. So I'm gonna let that simmer for a couple minutes and I'll be back. Okay, so it's starting to simmer. It's starting to look good. We're gonna let it go a little bit longer. You want to set your oven to 400 degrees. You're actually going to cook this for 45 minutes covered in foil, and then after you're done, you're gonna do 10 minutes uncovered. So all we have left is to add this, and then we're gonna add bacon on top, then we're gonna foil it. So I'm actually gonna do this process and set it aside for probably about 2 hours, and then I'll actually put it in the oven when it's closer to us eating. I can teach, I don't have to be worried about what I'm gonna make for dinner. So this is another reason it's one of my favorite recipes. Okay, it's time to transfer the tomato water mixture over, and I don't know about you, but these pans can be kind of hard for me because they're pretty heavy, so I just go like this. It's just easier than me trying to spoon it out, and I just kind of go across. Once again, you know, I'm looking for fast and efficient. So now I only have 1 pan that I have to wash. That's so nice because I was able to use it for 3 different functions. And then the recipe calls for 8 slices of bacon. Now this is where you have to have self-control if you have goals, because it's really easy to just start eating the bacon. And you don't want to do that. Okay, so I layer it on here, just kind of go back and forth. So I usually do like 6 across, this has 5, and then I do some on the end because it doesn't quite fit, and then I need 1 more, and then I just save the rest. I have teenage boys, they love BLTs, it's a great quick thing. They're athletes, so they're growing, they have very different nutritional needs than I do. So I am now gonna put tinfoil over this, and then I will show it to you in the oven and out. Okay, I'm back, time to pop it in the oven. It is at 400. We're gonna let it cook for 45 minutes, and then we'll uncover the tinfoil for 10 minutes. I'm teaching physics, impulse. Pray for me, I need it. Okay, it's been 45 minutes. We're gonna take off the tinfoil and let it cook 10 more. Okay, it's time to take it out, and we are gonna let it sit for probably 15 minutes or so at least, so that it cools off and everybody is ready to eat and not have it burn their mouth. So here's what it looks like. It's gonna be so good. Okay, this recipe I will put in the comments section, and if you are a calorie counter or a macro counter, which I'm not a huge fan of, and I can explain it all to you if you want. I think once you understand portion and what your body needs, that's a much healthier approach than counting calories and counting macros. But for those of you that are in the learning phase, or it's very important to you, this comes out to 6 servings, 252 calories per serving, 5 grams of fat, 20 grams of carb, and 32 grams of protein. I love this recipe because it's low glycemic veggies. The brown rice is good, but there's not a lot in here. Really lean meat, and then the bacon just gives it a little bit of, you feel like you're having some extra. So I hope you like this one. Let me know.